Hey there, Econ folks. This is Mr. Hooker, and this will be video number 3 of supply and demand. All right, here we go. So, our determinants of demand. First off, we got price of related goods. We're going to look at substitutes. So, substitutes are those goods who are used in place, or goods they're used in place of one another. So, if you go to the store, you're looking for something, it's not there. And so you use the next best thing, right? Walmart makes this really easy because like the name brand goods like chest high, and then the substitutes are like to the right, to the left, above it, below it. So two goods are substitutes if a decrease in the price of one leads to a decrease in demand for the other, or vice versa. So substitutes usually serve a similar function like coffee and tea, muffins, donuts, trains, and air flights. Um, so what happens to demand in the demand curve if the price of a substitute increases? So think of it this way: Coke and Pepsi are substitutes. So if the price of Coke increases, what happens to the demand for Pepsi? Nothing happened to the price of Pepsi, but what happens to the demand for Pepsi? It would also increase. So price of Coke goes up, the demand for Pepsi would go up. Complements. Two goods are complements. Complements are those goods that are used together. So you typically think of them as things we use together. If you go into the store, you're getting one, you may as well get the other. You're going to have to make another trip back to the store. Peanut butter and jelly, hot dogs, hot dog buns, hamburgers, hamburger buns, those kinds of things. That's what we're looking at here. Smartphones and apps, cars and gasoline, or two more they're throwing at you right here. What happens to demand? Demand curve if price of a complement increases. So let's look at peanut butter and jelly. So if the price of peanut butter goes up, what do you need the jelly for? So the demand for jelly will decrease. That is what happens. Changes in income. So we have two different types of good we have to look at here. So this is the effect the change in income on demand depends on the type of good. We have normal goods, which is like 98% of all goods out there. So when demand increases when income increases for a normal good. So if you like steak, your income goes up, you'll just buy more steak. If you like shoes, your income goes up, you'll just buy more shoes. So whatever it is, if it's a normal good and your income goes up, you'll just buy more of it. Inferior goods. So I'm going to take a stab in the dark and say a number of you are the typical broke college student. If you are consuming more inferior goods than the average bear. So these would be goods like Spam, ramen noodles, secondhand clothes. Okay. For these, demand decreases as income increases. For me, it was ramen noodles during my undergraduate days. It took two of us to buy a whole pack, the 10 packs. It was like 59 cents for, I believe during my undergraduate days, it's 59 cents for 10 packs. It took two of us to get to 59 cents. So, and I haven't touched them since I graduated. So, yeah, I've done my share on that one. These are the things you look at and you're going, you know what? When I graduate and I get a real job, I am never doing this again in my life. So, that is the idea of an inferior good. So, as your income increases, your demand basically takes a dive. That is the way that works out for you. Tastes and preferences. All right. They're subjective, vary among consumers. There's seasonal changes. Think about ice cream during the summer, right? During the summer, you have ice cream. Watermelon is very popular during the summer as well. So, those things, you're going to have an increase in demand during the summer, not so much during the winter. Um, so, that's a thing. Fads also are a thing that happens with that. So those go the demand goes up for things that are fads. So like they have a seasonal thing on here. What happens to demand for boots in October? So demand for boots in October goes up, kind of a thing. Um, changes for expectations. We have two things for so it's just price for suppliers. For for buyers, it's two things. It's income and it's price. So price, we are the cheap one. So we're looking to buy at the lowest possible price. So if we believe that the price is going down in the future, we are demand will go down now and go up at the future time when we believe will be the lowest possible price. So we are going with what we think. I'm filming this around Christmas time on Christmas break. So what you have, I grew, I mentioned I grew up in a really poor area. So, in our family, I often got like notes from people like, hey, I'll get you your gift after when the after Christmas sales hit. Just a normal thing. It was a normal thing in our family. Um, so kind of how things went. But if you believe the price is going up in the future, you will buy more now. So demand will go up now. The other one is income. That one's kind of crazy to me somewhat. I mean, I get the down. If you believe your income's going down in the future, you'll save. You'll start saving now, and that actually causes bad things to happen sometimes. But if you believe, if you heard from a friend who heard from a reliable source that you're getting a raise, there are people out there, there's enough people that this is actually determinate, but there are people out there who will start spending that money today. So, okay. Price petroleum goes up, demand for solar power would increase, and the demand for cars would decrease. As population goes up, this is just number of consumers. That's just straight math too. This is kind of demographics. You gotta add demographics into that as well. Um, that's just straight math. Um, so, 10 people buy more than one, 100 buy more than 10, 1,000 buy more than 100, 10,000 buy more than 1,000, 100,000 buy more than 10,000, and a million buy more than 100,000. The more people you cram into a space, the more stuff they buy. But you also want to know who those people are. Okay. And that's where the demographics come in. Different places market themselves a little differently. You may have seen the signs on the interstate if you drive any distance. You may have seen these signs, come to here, come to this place. We're a great place to retire. So I actually I went to grad school at K-State, and there are signs all around that says, come retire in the Flint Hills. And it's really kind of interesting once you get there. They actually pair freshmen up with retirees, and it sounds really weird, but it works for them. Uh, kind of a weird thing, but it does work. um, but if you're going to do that, what you need are golf courses, healthcare, retirements, retirement housing, or cheap, over 55 housing kind of things, retirement homes. So you need these things for old people to do. And then you have other places that market themselves as family friendly. So if you're going to do that, if you're going to be family friendly, you need to have things for kids to do, things for young adults to do. You need to have the kinds of things in the stores that kids would want to eat, that young adults would want, those kinds of things. So be sure to cater to not only the children, but also to their parents. So, yeah, that's the way that works out. Let's skip that. All right. So individual demand curves, market demand curves works the same as it did for supply. Sum across the quantity axis. Price will remain constant, but sum the quantities. How much did each person buy at that quantity? Okay. Econ movie for Indiana Jones. It's a good one. Go check it out. Market equilibrium, when quantity supplied equals quantity demanded at a certain price, the market is in equilibrium. It may be a little fragile, but there is always pressure toward equilibrium. So, like, if you go away from it, there will be pressure to get back to it, assuming somebody isn't messing with it. The amount consumers would purchase at the price is matched exactly by the amount producers wish to sell at that price. The price at which that takes place is the equilibrium price, also known as the market clearing price. The quantity of the goods or service bought is the equilibrium quantity. So you can see here for our Uber rides, our equilibrium price is 13.25, and we will sell 1,070 rides. Is everybody happy at that? No. Sellers would like to sell more rides, and buyers would like to sell more rides at a higher price, and buyers would like to buy more rides at a lower price. But at that price, we're willing to buy those, and they're willing to sell those. Why do all the sales purchases in a market take place at the same price? That's where the consumers don't have time to compare prices. Um, like a tourist trap, different stores have different prices. So in well-established markets, there's that uniform price, and that's the market price. So that's how that goes. All right. So why is it falling if it's above the equilibrium price? Basically, they've got too much stuff. There's a surplus. So quantity supplied is greater than quantity demanded. There's a surplus. There's the bargain bin. You may have seen that in the stores before. You got the bargain bin, right? So basically, that just means we had too much stuff. We couldn't sell it. We need to get rid of it. And how do we get rid of it? We put it on sale. And so that basically moves us toward our price was too high. Putting it on sale moves us toward the equilibrium price. Um, so that meant it was above the equilibrium level. Really, just the sale is just us moving toward equilibrium. Surpluses don't last. Sellers reduce the price so they can move those goods off the shelves because, hey, we need to get rid of them. So here's our thing. We're at 1375. We have a surplus. Quantity supplied is 1150. Quantity demanded is 900. So we are going to move the price down. We'll move to 1350. That still doesn't get rid of it. We move to 1325, and lo and behold, bam, we are at equilibrium. And life is good. So why is it going to rise? If it's below equilibrium, that's because there's now a shortage. Can't really do this with Uber rides, but the problem with shortages is the quantity demanded is greater than the quantity supplied. So buyers, if the good is tangible, like Uber rides is really a service, you can't really do that there. But if the good's tangible, buyers will buy the good and then resell it on another site. Um, like go out on eBay, Amazon, something like that, and resell it at the higher price. So the original seller is not gaining the full profit, and that's a problem for them. So they will raise the price to gain more of that whole surplus. So they don't last. Sellers realize they can make more money. So we're selling for 12.75. Quantity demanded is 13.80. The quantity supplied is 9.10. They move up to $13. They realize that ain't it. They move up to 13.25, and boom, we are at equilibrium. All right. So the demand curve shifts to the left, and what that does is that lowers the price and the quantity. So if demand shifts and supply stays the same, here's the way this works. If supply stays the same, doesn't move, demand shifts left, price and quantity fall. If demand shifts right, price and quantity rise. So if demand stays the same and supply shifts left, price rises, quantity falls. So that shift going left is we're talking about quantity when we talk about a decrease. So that's a decrease of quantity, right? But if there's less stuff, people are willing to pay more for it because, hey, we want it. I want it. and there's not much there, so I'm willing to pay more to get it. And that's how that works. All right, so this is going to be the end of video number 3, and we will wrap this chapter up in video number 4 coming right up.